Hey YouTube, welcome to another video from Skinny Medic. We got a little shade here because it's hot today in South Carolina. I already started working on this project and I was like, dang, if only I were a YouTuber and we could do a video on this.
Not a crappy YouTuber.
Yeah, so anyway, today we're going to build a shooting bench for our gun range here on the property. So my buddy Kevin here is an expert at woodworking, so he's gonna help me. I'm just here to video the camera. So start out with, I'll kind of show what we're doing. All right, so I already started working on the bench area. This is where like one side, left side shooter, right side shooter. It's 17 inches by 54 inches. So I started working on that before we started recording. And then Kevin is working on the 4x4 posts. We're having to use a skill saw because I don't own a chop saw. So what are you doing now?
So we're splitting 4x4 by 8 footers into 2 4-foot lengths a piece. We just got a tiny bit of waste, and then we'll be able to actually have 2 outer posts, 2 center posts, kind of where the bench where you're sitting at is going to be, and then this center piece he's working on, we'll tie all that together. Then we're going to work on the wings. We're going to go further in a minute.
So we did the 4x4s 4 feet in length. That'll make our legs for us.
This is a 2x6 by 8 foot, and so we're just cutting it to 4 feet and 4 feet because they're going to vary. This one's a 1/4 inch longer than 8 foot. That was like 3/4 inch longer than 8 foot. So I can't just split them in half. So I'm cutting them to 4 feet, just an arbitrary length.
All right, so we've got it upside down now. 4-foot post here. We went and made a mark 23.5 inches for the bench to sit. All right, what are you doing?
So we're doing, I think they're 5/16 by 4 inch long timber locks. 4 inch long timber locks. Just to kind of tie it together so that it doesn't rock back and forth and doesn't cause us a problem later on. Because, you know, there's a lot of weight on this thing.
So it's Skinny Medic's not skinny no more?
Nope, not a bit. It should go in like that. Just to be safe. Make sure everything is tied together. We're gonna do the same thing whenever we put the actual cross pieces for the bench. So this is the bottom, this is the top of the bench. So we're gonna do the same thing over here. Keep using my legs as a cut bench. This is like the beam that goes across the front.
You said 54.5 inches?
51.
51.
This guy, 17 3/4. So 17 off that end, 17 off that end. How many 2 of those 3 inch screws fast? So we've just centered it. I'm going to attach him. Super important you get them on the same plane this way, otherwise you'd be angry later.
Okay.
So I need that to stay there. Can you hold this top up? This will be a commercial for these guys. I'm sure they would appreciate it.
Maybe if they send you a couple of Milwaukee drills, that'd be great.
That'd be amazing.
Sponsor the channel.
Otherwise, you will short yourself. This thing has like 1/8" blade, maybe. So we cut these at 35 3/4. Yeah, we're at 35 3/4 because this was the scrap left over after I took out this guy's. So this stretches from here, the outside of this, which is 17 inches. So I cut 2 of those off this other block, and then I have this left over. So what it'll do is it'll go to the front like that. So go in here like this, and I have no waste off of that 2x4x10. I cut another match on the other side. We attach them together. Maybe you put 3 in there.
I did.
I'll put 1 on the bottom. It's 4x4.
Came in tight on the back side. This is gonna make the table. It's gonna be a pretty big table.
Yeah, it's 4.5 feet across by, whoops, by 3 feet of table. And it'll come here. It'll come almost to 5 feet. Arbitrary numbers based on material usage. Make it simple. I'm gonna flush the 2x6 up on the back here. And then I've marked my center. And then I marked an offset for the 2x6. So he's right about there. I'm gonna zip a screw. I'm gonna square it up, zip a screw in the back, and that'll let me know that we're square this way. That'll be the easiest way to do it. So we're good there. Just make sure that I'm square here. I know I'm good there. And just because I'm that way, I'm gonna measure it 5 5/5. So surely by accident, we're close enough to where it looks good.
So the box I built square is what you're saying?
I'm saying that somehow it was square.
All right, that makes me feel good. So little small portion I actually did of this is square.
We've attached on that center box that he somehow made square, which blows my mind, heavy because of the expert cuts. We'll be able to put 3 2x6s. Granted, they're going to be different widths from the factory and everything else based on expansion, contraction, cuts, all that kind of stuff, but they actually flushed up perfectly. So because of the overall length that we've made, we're going to take a 2x4 piece. We're going to butt it tight. Then that lets us put 3 other 2x6s, and it gives us a small overhang on this end. If it didn't like the overhang, we can trim it, we can sand it, we can do whatever, but that'll give us just something else to kind of space the bench out wide. We're going to cut this off, granted, you know, make it square, but you should have this, roughly this much area to actually sit in here, shoot if you want to, lean over. I got a left-handed kid, so that'll be helpful for her. Be great. So that's what we're doing now. So we're letting these run wild on the front end, and then we'll snap a line, cut it with the skill saw straight, so it'll look more professional. Tying it down so that lip doesn't raise up. So this is a 4 inch, I think, still 4.5, something like that.
Just trying to stiffen it up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, make it stiffer. Yeah, fucking, yeah, camera. 17. I told you wrong earlier. These are quarters, and that other one's a 5/16. 5/16 drive.
So bench area for you to sit on.
And it's heavy enough for our buddy where it'll hold him up. It's got them big screws in it. Come too far off. I think we're still gonna tie these two together, just because I just paranoid about it, and I have extra lumber here. But then you can sit and shoot. Now you come over here off the backside, you can stand and shoot, or if you had to for whatever reason, you let it cross sideways too. So that'd be nice. And if we don't like the height, lop the legs off.
Chainsaw.
Yeah. So we cut 45 on either end and just use that to straighten the legs out this way if they needed to, one way or the other. It's got a single screw here. We'll come back and toe screw from the back side at an angle to make sure this stays. And then this has a lag or timber lock or whatever on both sides. That should keep it good and sturdy for a while.
Finish out the front of the seat here, and just kind of tie down to the front to stabilize the front of it.
Make sure it doesn't move, but just to make sure it doesn't sag over the time. So we're going to do a 45 miter to connect this 2x6 to the 4x4 on both sides, just to make us feel more comfortable long term.
So 2 more braces across the bottom, and you can see that bottom brace for the bench there.
Just keeps it from splaying this way, just in case.
Only weighs about 800 pounds.
It's heavy. So if I was to go back and we were to change anything later, you could add, instead of 2x6s here and on the top, you could do the 5/4 decking boards to last a good long time. I will later go by and put another 2x4 cross and cross and cross, just to help those boards as they start to dry, they don't get all wonky and messed up. But we're gonna go back and add that later because we don't want to, because we're tired.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. You never know when you'll be the first responder. Remember the right gear and the right training. I'm gonna put a cut sheet at the end of the video. You can just hit pause and see what Kevin's supposed to do that for me. So if he doesn't do it, it's his fault. But awesome, hope this video helps.